having played with this band now for 4 years, we have really found something that is really unique. This time we've kind of come to India a lot more confident about ourselves and our own music. We just wrapped up our second India tour, but this time it was way more special because we traveled with Sungazer, which is Adam, Neely, and Shawn Crowder. We traveled to 4 cities in India, 2 of which we hadn't hit the last time, which was Goa and Jaipur. Along with the 4 shows, we did 3 workshops this time and met some incredible people, met some really great young musicians, and it was incredible for my band from New York and the community in New York to actually meet a lot of the people that I know here. The whole trip has just been like a merging of these 2 worlds where I live in New York and work as a musician away from my family and friends, and then to bring that whole experience to India where things are familiar and it's the culture that I identify with. For me as a musician, to bridge those 2 worlds is very important.
Jaipur was like this big jazz and blues festival, a lot of people, but it was open air, and that seemed like a really great crowd.
The festival was in the central park of Jaipur, so it's this beautiful park, and they set up a really nice stage, and so many people came out to the show, so that was really exciting.
Jazz is still in its very nascent stages in India. And so going into it, we were a little bit apprehensive about how people would respond to a jazz festival in the middle of the city. But the night we played, it was huge. Everyone was super engaged. The audience was incredible. We got a lot of claps and shouts, and people were there for us who knew our music.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Mumbai has always, I think, been a favorite city. It's the center of Indian entertainment and the Indian film industry and the Indian music industry.
It felt a lot different because it's on the coast, and we were like staying on the hotel in Marine Drive, so there's like that long road you could go running up and down.
The workshop in Mumbai was awesome. It was great going back to True School of Music, going up those stairs, seeing the campus again.
We've got Mike, we've got Shawn, we've got Josh, we've got Brian, and we've got Jared. Everybody, Shubh Saran!
We'd done a workshop at True School of Music before. It was really well attended. This time it seemed like the number of people who were there had like doubled or something, or tripled. There was like a line out the door and the room was completely packed. Yet it was like pin drop silence while we were speaking and playing.
How many people are keyboard players out there? Yeah, all right, small but mighty. That's what we are, yes.
Music is so much about giving back than only just doing your one specific thing that you're called to do.
It feels good to see people younger than us, because it wasn't that long ago that we were in the same position where we were going to see the bands that we liked, and we were really excited and had questions.
The last song is we'll treat it like family jam kind of situation. So like take the first solo out of it.
You
What's up, man? How you doing? Good to meet you, man.
So we showed up at the venue quite early. It was a lot of us just hanging out, waiting for the sound people, waiting for the lighting people to set everything up, troubleshoot anything that was going on.
The first time we played at a jazz club, which had an inbuilt audience. This time we just played at a black box theater and sold tickets and ended up selling out the theater and then had to kind of sell over capacity, and we hit like 250 people, which was completely unexpected. I didn't expect such a large audience. And it was one of the best, like just incredible experiences I've ever had playing my own music.
Show in Mumbai was probably my favorite of all the things that we did. It very much had the vibe of the Boston show that we did. All these really, really excited young people who came out to see and play. And that was kind of surreal, honestly, to see everybody just like going like that and like woo and like shouting and doing the whole thing that I feel so comfortable with.
Give it up for yourself.
A lot of energy, great crowd. Definitely surprised by just the number of people that know our music on this side of the planet. You know, it's really exciting, and there's a definite hunger for this kind of music.
The people we met very much felt like they were part of something that we were doing. They could really identify with the style of music we were making. A hallmark of this kind of music, jazz and modern jazz and improvised music, is that the people who listen to this kind of music are not only listeners, but they also partake in the actual music making of the genre. So they're not just audience members, but they're also creating the music on their own. Goa was like a breath of fresh air. It was our first rest day after quite a busy period of travel and performances. We got to Goa and everyone was just like, oh, okay, nice. I can see the water, I can see the sea. We have a rest day, we're just gonna go to the beach and eat food. And that's exactly what we did.
It was a really nice respite after being in Delhi and Jaipur and Mumbai. Found ourselves in more of a village type of scenery.
The hosts were so generous, and the hospitality here is phenomenal. It's probably one of the best meals we've had on the trip.
Percussion bells here.
And once I think you give each section a central focus and add a spotlight to one part of the song, you can then have room to sort of grow and create like a full composition.
It felt like a So Far Sounds almost. We played under this like lean-to storm shelter thing that you would find.
Really sort of an outdoor, backyard, almost house concert kind of a vibe. But in terms of the acoustics, everything was crystal clear and we were relaxed.
Setting was really relaxed and chill. Lent itself to just a really nice, comfortable, intimate gig.
seeing audiences that for whom this music is not constantly accessible and for whom it's still like very, very fresh, that's really, really energizing as a performer. I think a lot of people in New York are just very jaded because they're super inundated with this kind of music and all sorts of different kinds of music. So to take it on the road, and especially to a different country, it gives me a lot of hope that this music still means something to people.
This has been a blessing. It's been really nice to work with Shubh because as a fellow guitar player, it's also really nice to see someone who has built something incredible. So we should give Shubh an incredible.
That morning we woke up at 4:30 or something, having slept at like midnight, so not running on too much sleep. Took like an hour-long drive to the airport in Goa, got on the flight, got off in Delhi, went directly to the Piano Man in Gurgaon, and just completely like made it our home. We like slept on the couches and like ordered a bunch of food. And it was my first time at the venue and I was blown away because I've been performing in Delhi for many number of years. And I've seen a lot of venues in Delhi come and go, but the Piano Man in Gurgaon definitely sticks out as one of the best venues that I've seen in Delhi. The work that they're doing and that the team are doing in trying to just create and inject some excitement into the Delhi music scene is really commendable. A few different bands within bands. Brian's band called Aberdeen that we all play for. We're going to go to a solo. There's a few different projects that we play for Josh's project and Christian has his own project. So everyone's kind of got their own thing. We end up jumping around and each other's stuff a lot.
This whole thing started as drums plus percussion, and then it morphed to do 2 drum sets just because of the individuals. Angelo Stepanato, he couldn't be here, but him and I sort of just like linked up immediately, and that led to this idea of, hey, let's try double drums. Other bands have done it in the past. Let's see if we can do it. And it kind of just clicked enough right away that we decided to start massaging it. But with that instant success came a lot of conscious choices to actually make it work.
It's really rare for me to get opportunities to see other people teach and to be there with them on stage.
Actually, I realized that all the hippest musicians in any sort of diasporic genre, whether it's jazz or R&B or blues or hip hop or pop music or anything, they rely on parts. Like they play parts that repeat, and they play the shit out of those parts.
The audience, I mean, they're awesome. And I've had this experience a few times traveling. It's just that you get audiences that are so hungry and so enthusiastic, and I can really identify with that. I grew up in a really small town, and so I didn't have a teacher for improvised music, and YouTube wasn't really around at that time until I was almost in college. I remember just having these really burning questions and just wishing someone would come and answer them for me. It sometimes took me years to find the answer to a really simple question. So I can understand that desire to learn, and I think it's really amazing.
The last gig started off with me getting a call that morning saying we're gonna take the call, we're moving the show indoors. Originally the show was supposed to be under this beautiful banyan tree in Delhi where a lot of concerts are held. But that night before that and all day that day it was pouring rain And so the festival decided to move us indoors.
Final show was great. A little heartbroken that we couldn't play outside, but inside was awesome too. Everyone was just super nice. It was a beautiful art gallery hallway that we played in.
My name is Shubh Saran. This is my incredible band. We flew out to New York City for a series of shows in India, and it's been an incredible experience. Give it up for these guys.
I felt very much at home with the communities of musicians and audiences that came out to see us. It was very nice just to sit back and take it all in and see the beautiful chaos that is all the cities of India that we traveled to. It was an amazing experience, and I can't wait to do this again in some way.
It's a lot of fun. We all get along very well. We have similar music tastes, but also like among the 8 or 9 people in that group, it's like a wide variety of influences, and we're always learning from each other.
We perform on stage together, and we tour together, and we kind of make it a point that these two bands are the same unit. And I think that's a very powerful thing when people look at these bands. They see a community of musicians dedicated to music.
There's a lot of people coming out that like were really big fans, invested in like the music and the projects. It's like exciting to have groups of people wooing at you when you do some drum fill that was different from the record because they know the record.
I spent a lot of time in Delhi. I learned how to play guitar in Delhi. I didn't have access to the information when I was growing up here. We had someone in Goa travel from Bangalore. We had someone travel from Calcutta to Delhi for one of our workshops. I don't think I had expected that at all. Thinking that anyone would travel beyond like an hour or two to get to us, let alone 16 hours on a bus. It very much has something to say about the hunger behind the musicians here and how much they are willing to learn and what they are willing to do to find the access to this information.